Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Explore and Engage with Anam. There's tension in Texas, and you can read about it all in the news. And if you decide to watch some news channels on TV, then you are probably going to see different political commentators expressing different opinions on this issue. But one thing is for sure, everyone's talking about it. This is the major news right now. I'm talking about the major redistricting battle that is going on. The Republicans in Texas want to do some redistricting on the electoral maps. And really, they just want to update the maps. It's very simple. And the Democrats are unhappy. The Democrats seem very agitated. They're very anxious, and I don't understand why. I don't understand why the Democrats are creating so much of drama. I don't understand this. My friends, there's one thing that I'm going to tell you, but this is something that you already know, but it needs to be stated again very clearly. Texas is a red state. It's a Republican-heavy state. And the maps of Texas should reflect that. The congressional maps should reflect that. And that is what the Republican state legislators are trying to do by updating the maps. They want to redraw some lines and they want to increase the level of fairness because it's really an effort to ensure that the maps represent the true nature of the state of Texas, which is a big red state. And the Republicans are following a very sound and stable process. They're following a very fair process to do redistricting. The process is being done in the state legislature according to the legal process in Texas. A state legislative committee voted to approve redrawn congressional maps. A House committee in Texas gave the seal of approval. And now the Democrats are complaining. They're complaining, they're not happy. They're saying, oh, this was approved along a party line vote. Oh, it's not fair. Hey, listen. This is Texas that we're talking about. It's a Republican-heavy state. There are more Republican voters. There are more Republican state legislators. And the Texas state legislators have a responsibility to follow the will of the people. And the people want maps that truly represent the true nature of the electorate in Texas. And so, yes, redistricting is necessary. And the redrawn maps would likely result in more GOP seats. And if that happens, that is perfectly fine. This is, once again, this is Texas we're talking about. It is not a blue state. It is a red state, and it's a very, very big state. So if redrawn maps give the GOP more seats, so be it. There's nothing wrong with that. And yes, it will be fair if it happens. If the process is successfully completed and the new maps result in more GOP seats, that's perfectly fine. My friends, you got to remember one thing. The American people spoke loud and clear back in November. They gave the Republicans a mandate. The American people loudly said, it is time to make America great again. And so, it is essential to implement the America First agenda. It is essential to make America energy independent and energy dominant. The American people spoke loud and clear. And there are many priorities. For example, protect women's sports, secure the border, deport illegal aliens, rebuild and strengthen America's manufacturing sector, ensure fair trade, promote peace, and there's a lot more. So these are all the things that we, the American people, expect from our elected officials. And our expectations have resulted in Republican majorities in the House and in the US Senate, and a Republican president in the White House. And so, the Republican elected officials must keep the promises made to the American people. And at the state level, part of keeping that promise is to ensure that we have maps that represent the true nature of the state. And in Texas, the Texas state Republicans are trying to redraw the maps accordingly. My friends, to really make America great again, we must ensure that the Republicans continue to hold on to the House majority. Because if the Republicans lose the majority in 2026, and if the Democrats take over the House, if they meaning the left-wing politicians, the Democrats, if they win the House majority, it's going to be a disaster. All that the Democrats will do is to block President Trump's America First agenda, and the Democrats will block the people's agenda. And so it is essential that the Republicans continue to hold on to the House majority and hopefully grow the size of the majority. And what is happening in Texas is an independent process. It's being done in the Texas state legislature. It is not part of US Congress. This redistricting battle, it's a Texas state matter. It's not a process that is going on in US Congress. And that redistricting process is important to ensure that the maps, once again, as I said, I'm repeating now, it is important to ensure that the maps represent the true nature of Texas. And yes, in that process, there may be some more seats that the Republicans end up winning in 2026 for Congress from Texas. And if you ask me, that would actually benefit the whole country. If you are an American who loves freedom, if you are an American who wants to protect our constitutional rights, if you are an American who believes in common sense, then you should appreciate what the Texas Republicans are trying to do. So if you're listening to me, if you are an American listening to my podcast episode, if you're watching the video version of this podcast episode, I want you to know that we must be thankful for what the Texas Republican legislators are trying to do. They're trying to ensure greater fairness regarding the maps. That's how I see it. If you have different opinion, you can get in touch with me. Let me know. And as I said at the very beginning, if you listen to different political commentators, you'll get different opinions. I understand. The political commentators who lean to the left, they don't like what's going on in Texas. They're not happy. So if you have different opinions, you can get in touch with me. Let me know. I want to hear what you have to say. I may not agree with you. You may not agree with me, but I want to hear other opinions that may be out there. My friends, right now, out of 38 congressional seats in Texas, 25 are in Republican control. 38 congressional seats in Texas. I mean, that is massive. I mean, Think about how many congressional seats are there in your state. Okay? I mean, 38 in Texas. That's a large number. And out of the 38, 25 are in Republican control. And reportedly, if the new maps are approved and implemented, then the Republicans will gain a few seats, and that's great. If that happens, you got to be happy. It'll be wonderful. It'll be wonderful. It'll be great for our country. So, my friends, what the Democrat legislators from the state of Texas, what they have done is the following. They have fled Texas. Why? Why did they leave the state of Texas? To prevent a quorum from being reached. If a quorum is reached in the Texas state legislature, then this legislation, this bill is going to move forward, and it'll likely be approved, and it will likely be signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott. And so the Democrat legislators decided to leave the state, go someplace else. They fled. And the legislative business is now on pause. My friends, you have to understand the complete picture. A legislator, an elected official, it is the legislator's responsibility to do his or her job. And part of that job includes being in the state house to read bills, to ask questions, to offer amendments, to negotiate, and then to eventually vote yes or no. As a legislator, you may like a bill, you may love a bill, and that means you'll probably vote yes if you like a legislation. If you don't like it, you can vote no. As an elected official, you can vote no on a legislation if you don't like it. But you must stay and do your job. Vote yes or vote no, but you gotta vote. What the Texas Democrats did is wrong. They escaped from that important responsibility of voting on legislation. The Democrats, while being in elected office, decided to run away from the responsibility of legislating. And that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable. Elected officials running away from their jobs. It's unbelievable, but it's happening. And we're not talking about a couple of Democrats. We're not talking about a few Democrats. Like, two of the Democrats left. 3 of the Democrats left. There were like 5 Democrats that decided to walk away and, walk away from their responsibility. No, we're talking about dozens of Democrat legislators. Yeah, dozens. You heard that correctly. Dozens. Dozens of Democrat state legislators who left Texas because they want to run away from their responsibilities. And that's what they did. Dozens of legislators. And so the people of Texas are extremely disappointed. If you talk to Texas voters right now, if you go and ask them, hey, what do you think about dozens of Democrats leaving the state to prevent a quorum from being reached? If you ask a voter that question, you are likely going to get the following answer. I don't like it. They should be doing their jobs. Why did they leave Texas and go someplace else? Why are they not in the state house doing their jobs? My friends, the people of Texas, they want these Democrats to be voting on bills as the Republicans. And the Republicans are trying to do their job. They are doing their job. The Republicans in the state of Texas, they are working very hard for the people, but the Democrats are not. They chose to leave the state. Reportedly, the Texas Constitution requires 2/3 of the state house to be present to move forward with legislative business. And when dozens of Democrats leave Texas, that quorum cannot be reached. And so where did all the Democrats go? You may be asking that question. It's a logical question. Hey, they left Texas, but where did they go? Reportedly, some went to Illinois. And some went to New York and maybe other states. I don't know. Well, my friends, we know that both Illinois and New York are blue states. So these Democrats seem to have found sanctuary in Illinois and New York. These Democrats have left-wing allies in Illinois and New York. There's J.B. Pritzker, the governor of Illinois, left-wing politician. There's Kathy Hochul in New York, left-wing governor, Democrat. And so I don't know what's going to happen going forward. The situation is very heated right now. But one thing we know, that the Democrats are not doing their jobs. These state legislators from Texas, dozens of them. So, my friends, it's an uncertain situation right now. And we don't know what's going to happen going forward. We'll see. But this is clearly what elected officials should not be doing. I mean, there's a lesson to learn from all of this, okay? If you want to make a list of things that you should not do as a state legislator, okay, then this example is going to be on that list. You should never escape from your responsibilities. You should never walk away from your responsibilities. As an elected official, you vote on legislation. And naturally, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you're not going to like each and every piece of legislation. That's why you can vote yes or you can vote no, but you gotta vote. So my friends, this is something that is happening in Texas, but the entire country is watching. The entire country is paying attention to this. I'm here in the state of Wisconsin, and I'm watching this very closely. Okay, and people all over the country, they're paying attention to this because this is an independent process happening in Texas, but the effects may be national. Okay, as I said, if this process is successfully completed and it results in few additional Republican seats in the U.S. House of Representatives, then it will impact the balance of power in Congress. So, I'm going to be paying attention to all the updates, but there's one thing that I want to highlight in all of this. I've always said on my channel that Governor Greg Abbott is one of the best governors, and if you ask me, he's the best governor in America, okay? Undoubtedly, we have some great governors, some great Republican governors in the United States of America, but my personal opinion is that Greg Abbott is the best. He's a fighter. He's a fighter, and Texas is in good hands, I believe, and we'll see what actions Governor Abbott decides to take in response to the fact that so many Democrats fled the state. What is he going to do? We'll have to wait and see. But I trust Greg Abbott, and he's not alone. He's got strong allies in his state. And hopefully at the end of the day, the will of the people will prevail. The will of the people, that's what this is all about. And no one should forget that. The people have given the Republicans a mandate, and the Republicans will have to do their jobs, and the Republicans are doing their jobs. The Democrats are not. The Democrats are walking away from their responsibilities. So my friends, that's all I have for today. Please make sure that you stay connected to me, okay? I appreciate that. I mean, here we are. This is season, let me see. What season are we in right now? Do you know? Season 12. Here we are. Season 12 of my podcast. It's been an amazing journey so far, and we will continue moving forward. And so I appreciate the fact that more and more people are listening to my podcast. It's a great feeling. As I've said before, I welcome opinions from all different angles, okay? So you may be listening to me and you may be saying, Tausif, I completely disagree with you. That's fine. If you disagree with me, let me know why. Okay? And if you agree with me, I would appreciate maybe a word of support. It would mean a lot if you reach out to me and say, Tausif, keep up the good work. Because when people do that, I know that I'm making a difference, okay, through my voice, through my analysis, through my podcast. So I'm very grateful to all those who continue to listen to my podcast. Thank you so very much. I will continue doing that. There's going to be a lot to talk about in the days and weeks and months and really years to come. So thank you, my friend. It's an amazing journey, and it's possible because of each and every one of you. So thank you so very much. Let's continue to follow the updates coming out of Texas. The eyes of America are on Texas right now. Thank you, my friends. I'm going to be back again very soon with a new episode. So stay connected to me. And thank you once again.